Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Welcome everyone to this special webinar on IELTS writing, introduction and overview. Alhamdulillah, once again we are honored by the presence of our dedicated IELTS instructor, Mr. Abdullah Abu Ghufran. We are grateful for his unwavering support and dedication to our classes and students. He is a native English speaker with extensive experience in TOEFL and IELTS test preparation classes. Once again, welcome everyone to the webinar. About the agenda of the webinar, first of all, we will have a short and brief introduction of Afghanistan Open University organization. Then we will leave the stage to Mr. Abdullah Abu Ghufran for his presentation, and then we will have a Q&A section. You all will have the opportunity to share your questions about the webinar or any kind of question that you may have from Mr. Abdullah Abu Ghufran. Additionally, to make this webinar even more rewarding, we are offering a special opportunity. We will be conducting a short and easy quiz based on the content of tonight's webinar. The top 3 participants will receive a scholarship to join our IELTS class for free. To be eligible for this opportunity, you guys need to stay with us until the very end of this webinar. Only those who stay with us till the end of the seminar will be allowed to join the quiz. So stay with us and use most of this golden opportunity. So about the Afghanistan Open University organization, we are a tuition-free online organization offering free education to Afghan boys and girls. At the moment, we are operating as an organization, and under the name of Afghanistan Open University Organization, we offer services in 4 sections. The first section is our short courses, which we offer them from various departments. For example, from English language department, we offer classes from beginner to advanced level, including TOEFL, IELTS, and Duolingo test preparation classes, where we also provide the active students with the chance of having the actual TOEFL or IELTS test for free. We cover their fee. From the other foreign languages department, we offer classes in French, German, and Turkish languages. From the professional classes department, we offer classes in cybersecurity, monitoring and evaluation, project management, digital marketing, graphic design, and many other professional classes. Through these short courses, we are connected with more than 80,000 students directly. The second section that we offer services is our online libraries, where we have more than 400,000 members, and we do upload around 10 to 12 books per minute, and all the students and all the members of Afghanistan Open University organization can have access to any kind of books in just a couple of minutes. The third part that we offer services is our seminars department, where we hold more than 3 educational seminars per week. The fourth section that Afghanistan Open University Organization is offering free services is our Career Center department, where we share the announcement of jobs, duties, and free scholarships. We don't only share the announcement of free scholarships, we also help the students on how to apply for a scholarship. We also support them with the recommendation letters. We help them with writing their motivation letters, and in any part that we support the students, we do support them. So this is Afghanistan Open University Organization offering free services for Afghan girls and boys. So let's begin the webinar. Sir, the stage is yours.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. All right, so great introduction for the Afghanistan Open University. Very informative. So I hope all of you take advantage of the services being offered. Again, this is I think it's my 3rd time teaching the IELTS writing class. I started about 1 full year ago, actually. I think it was October of last year. And we've had a few writing seminars and writing classes to go through. And I can say, alhamdulillah, they're all very successful. And some excellent students are definitely engaging in these classes. So take advantage of this time, take advantage of me as a professional and native speaker, and definitely take advantage of the resources that will be presented through the Afghanistan Open University. So inshallah, let's begin with this presentation. This is going to be a fairly short but very informative presentation just regarding what IELTS is and what I will do for the Afghanistan Open University, and also some good strategies in developing writing and other types of skills associated with IELTS and English language. Inshallah. Bismillah. Let's begin. So if you're here, you know a little bit about IELTS, you know a little bit about what's needed. Maybe you've just heard about IELTS, you don't know much, but you know it's necessary. It's one of those things that students, especially in university or professional students, need to do at some point in their career or academic life in order for them to get into higher education or even better job placement. So this course is going to be unique in as much as I don't teach IELTS only for passing a test, but I also teach how to prepare for IELTS for your professional life, your personal life. Um, Remember, English is a language, just like Farsi, just like Urdu, just like Arabic. You know, it's a means to communicate. And if you don't know how to communicate, you can never express yourself. Writing is quite a bit different from speaking. I'm sure all of you know this. And inshallah, bi'idhnillah, in this class, we're going to look at different ways where we can properly express ourselves through writing, um, and either for a career in your own profession or for, let's say, an academic scholarship, or even just so you can feel confident in another language. IELTS is one of the best tools to use if you want to improve your language fluency and fluidity. So we know IELTS, it's a English language test to test your proficiency in about two fields. You have a general IELTS and you have an academic IELTS. These are the two ways that this international testing looks and recognizes your abilities according to the standard English language. Um, we have receptive skills, which such as reading and listening, and then we have productive skills, which is speaking and writing. We're producing the speech. So, inshallah, we're going to, in my class, we're going to focus only on writing, but there are some ways that you can use these skills to cross over and increase your competency or your skills in other departments or other areas of the English language. Most of you are going to be taking academic IELTS. This is going to be for higher education professionalism, whereas general IELTS is for people that are just, you know, commonly going to migrate, right? Going to a different country, let's say the US or Canada or Australia, you might need to take general IELTS to pass and show your language proficiency. But for all purposes, we're going to focus on academic for our class. And another heads up, last year I came across some students in, I think it was in Kabul and Kandahar, and they were telling me that there are some centers that are actually accepting people to take IELTS exams. Be very careful because these centers are using ID numbers from other organizations. So they're not official IELTS testing centers. As to date, as of right now, as of today, you cannot take IELTS in person in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, you have to go to Iran or you have to go to Pakistan in order to take the IELTS test. They don't offer it online. Don't be fooled. And especially watch out for these people at language centers that say, you know, you can take the IELTS test there. They do really good jobs of making it look official, but at the end of the day, when you take your, you know, your certificate and they cross-check it, which they do, they're going to find that your center number does not exist, and therefore you just gave all of your money and a lot of hard work to somebody that is not official. So don't be tempted with that. inshallah. All right, so what we're going to do first, mostly when we start our class, we're going to spend a few days understanding just general writing. General writing, it's a good way to get your ideas flowing, and it's a good way to understand a little bit about punctuation and a little bit about writing structures themselves. If you ever take the general training for IELTS, the the topics are going to be fairly easy, but it's important that we know how to write these because let's face it, letter writing, it's just like emails, right? If you write a letter, you can write an email. If you can write an email, you could write a letter. So, but there is a structure. There is a way that we have to understand the way of writing or written communication. So, writing a letter is really good. This again ties into the skill set that you'll need if you are going into university and you need to write an introduction letter. You need to write a motivation letter. I have many students coming to me from our last class and previous classes, and alhamdulillah, I'm given the opportunity to assist them in writing these letters. So it's also really important that you understand the difference of formal language and non-formal language and how to write accordingly. So this helps you enormously. It's a great help for you in your professional life to understand how to write a good letter. Um, if you're ever taking general IELTS, it's a fairly easy section, but it still requires a little bit of understanding about common tone of English, whether it's formal or non-formal, professional or friendly. So it's 150 words. Again, appropriate level of formality. Who are you talking to? Is it a business? Is it a professional place? Or is it a friend and you're asking for recommendations? So understanding the types of language that's used, the levels of formality, and by exercising the appropriate tones and styles in your writing structure. This is the main skill for the general training IELTS writing. And this is also a main skill that you should know regardless of whether you're taking the IELTS general, IELTS academic, or maybe you're just looking to advance in your English language. This is an excellent skill set to learn. The next, we see also a general writing task, but this is task 2, and this is all these general writing tasks too, whether if it's general or academic, it's all essay style writing sample. So it's basically going to ask you about your opinion and how well you can express yourself. This is the most common way for these writing tasks. This is the one of the hardest that I've seen, not only through the Afghanistan Open University, but my classes in the UAE, in Jordan, and other various countries in the Middle East, and also in America. Um, I want to just let everybody know that nobody is professional in writing, not even native speakers. You have to learn good writing structure. Same thing in any other language. Nobody is born with the natural ability to write perfectly. It takes time, it takes practice, and most importantly, it takes organization. You have to organize your ideas. Otherwise, your paper looks it looks crazy. And I believe that nobody in this room is a crazy individual. So inshallah, we'll learn the skills that we need to organize ourselves. So, in any rate, both of these tests, the general training writing and the academic for task 2, are 250 words. They have to be well organized and they have to show a clear argument, a viewpoint, or some type of position supported by examples. Okay, and we'll talk about that in our classes. It's a long subject, but once you know the code, right? Once you know the pattern, it's very easy for you to start practicing and start writing because it all falls on a structure. So the skill set here is being able to express and develop ideas, logically present your points and your arguments or opinions, and also use different types of language to whether persuade somebody or to show importance over one thing or the next. Again, these can tie into your academic skills or to your professional skills if you're working and you need to write a contract letter or some type of argument to a business colleague. These are very important skills because they show professionalism and they show organization. So now let's move on to the academic writing. So academic writing task 1 is fairly different from the task 1 of our general. Academic writing is going to be based on a graph, based on some kind of information that you're given, that you have to write a report. This is a simple exercise in explaining something that you see. Okay, it shows a gradual step-by-step process and how something is done, something is made or manufactured, or it shows that you can analyze information that is on a piece of paper, like a bar chart or a line graph, or anything that shows a certain percentage of things over a number of time, or a duration of time, rather. So it's important here to be able to understand what you're looking at, organize your thoughts, and report only on what you see. This is 150 words, and it should be done in about 20 minutes. And you should really show a clear overview of something. This is called summarizing or synthesizing. You're taking all of the information and you're putting it down in your own words, showing the most key features, the most important data that you believe should be in a written report. And inshallah, you can see how this can directly relate to the skill sets that you might need in an academic field and also in a professional field as well. If you want to start your own business, this is an excellent skill to learn so that you can effectively communicate with other colleagues about data. Okay. And our final IELTS academic writing, this is an essay. This is a fully descriptive essay. It's 40 minutes. You have 40 minutes to work on this. It's a minimum of 250 words. And in this task, you have to present your point of view, your opinion, maybe an argument on two sides, and perhaps maybe even a problem that is written in the prompt, the question itself. You might be asked to discuss two different viewpoints and then give your own perspective at the end. So this is a full opinion, and it's based on a logical sense of reasoning. There has to be cohesion in this essay. It is one of the hardest, and it is, in my class, one of the ones that we focus on the most, because it's so involved. We need to know a few different types of writing styles in order to get a good grade on this particular type of essay. All right, 250 words in 40 minutes, it might sound like an impossible thing, but bi'ithnillah, with the work that you're doing and with the support of other students, and inshallah with the support that I'm able to offer, this can be something that you're able to do not only once but a number of times. And if you keep practicing, inshallah, you'll be able to write maybe 2,500 words in 40 minutes. So it takes practice. Don't get the idea that once you get, let's say, a grade 7 or an 8 on IELTS, learning is over for you. This is never the case. You have to always understand what's needed and practice over time and time and time. So obviously, as I mentioned here, the skills that we learn through this IELTS academic writing task 2 is the ability to develop and present different types of arguments, organizing a range of ideas that are joined together, meaning they're coherent. They make sense logically as you go through, and also using higher level vocabulary, examples, and evidence to support your ideas. Does anybody have any questions right now before we go forward? I'll take like one or two questions. Is anybody confused or want me to go over one other thing? Okay, I don't see anybody opening. Okay, so let's continue. All right, so here's a big what if. Um, Given what I've said earlier about IELTS not being in Afghanistan, I've had many students that, they pretty much halfway through the course, they lose motivation. And they say, teacher, what's the point? Wallahi, I can't take the test. There's no centers. I can't travel to Iran. I can't travel to Pakistan. Uh, why, why am I doing this? Well, you know, there's a few reasons. Obviously, the reason that I always say is to better yourself, right? Any time that you spend on a skill, no matter what it is, with the intention that you're developing yourself for the sake of Allah, alhamdulillah, it's never wasted. And even our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to us that we should definitely seek knowledge and refine ourselves and to develop our skill sets. So even if you don't plan on taking IELTS but want to be a better communicator, you want to do better at work, you want to do better at school, or maybe even you just want to do better for yourself, this course is definitely meant for you. It's meant for you to develop your skills. As I said earlier, IELTS is a test. It's just a test. You're going to get your band and you're going to either be happy or sad with it. Whatever. Inshallah, you'll be happy with my help and with the help of Allah. You'll be happy. But regardless, it's a way that you can communicate in a different language. And this is a huge skill set for whoever you are. Even if you don't plan to immigrate, maybe you have a, I don't know, family in Canada or the US and you want to move, or I don't know, for whatever reason, Allah knows, but for whatever reason, there's always a very good use of communicating in English, and IELTS can get you there very quickly. It's one of the best programs to go through, and not too many instructors offer it as a means to learn a language. It's simply just done as a test. So this is something unique, and inshallah, you'll all be able to benefit from this. So it's not a waste of time. And if you don't plan to go to school in 2 years or migrate, do it for yourself, right? Learn a new language, learn a new skill, and be able to effectively communicate. So um, that's that's what you can do if you don't plan on going to universities or you don't plan on moving. Do it for yourself. Learn how to express yourself, inshallah. So, and that brings us to this next point. This class, this course, it's a different methodology to prepare students for either IELTS or just through general language skill development. I'm introducing both of these skills, the general IELTS and the academic. So we'll go through both of these and everything that you'll need to get really good results in your IELTS exam preparation. So whenever you take the test, inshallah, you'll get the results that you want. Um, the ways of doing this, even if you don't want to take the test, if you don't see the point, but you want to become a better communicator in your company, or maybe you want to get a higher job, and a better job rather, and they require you know higher fluency in English, these classes will help you. And it's a really great method to use, because it takes it away from just the test and it puts it into your real life program, right? Your real life application. It's not simply a test preparation class alone, but you can use this into everyday life. So the type of skills that I aim to give all of you, or at least to introduce to all of you, uh, obviously technical writing skills, being able to write essays, reports, or just research papers, um, professional and general letter writing, I know, like I said, almost every single one of my students at some point has to write an introduction letter, that have to write a letter going into university, a motivation letter. These classes will help you do that. Um, Writing organization, how organized are your thoughts? How organized are you going to be able to express them on paper? Punctuation is a huge issue. A word can completely have a completely different meaning if the proper pronunciation isn't there. Same thing with grammar. Obviously, we can get away with speaking with, not the best grammar, but writing, unfortunately, our writing has to be pretty perfect as far as grammar goes. And coherency and cohesion, this is how well our ideas are expressed, right? There's always a saying, you should say what you mean. And if you don't mean what you say, then you never say what you mean, right? Something like that. So it's really important for everybody to understand, are we speaking or are we writing logically? Does it sound right? Inshallah, these classes will help you do that. And also, our final is formal and semi-formal personal writing skill, technique, and development. Having different styles of writing is very important. Okay, so here's a quick look at our scoring criteria here. We see the way that IELTS is scored, it's on these, especially for our writing section, it's scored on these 4 points. Okay, there's a task achievement and your responses. Of course, task achievement really tells us, what does it mean? It means how well we're answering the question. Is our answer connected to the question? If they're asking us about, I don't know, let's say having school qualifications, if it's important or not, and we end up writing about our uncle's, 25th birthday party, uh, you know, it's not, we're not answering the question at all. So our task achievement is not related to the question. So, we always need to make sure that there is some relevant point going back to the main question itself. That's task achievement. Coherence and cohesion, this is going to show your writing style and organization. Very important that you find your writing voice. That voice in your head, that thing that we listen to every day, all night, that is always talking, that has the potential to become our writing voice. We need to train it. We need to make sure that the voices or the voice that we're hearing in our head that tells us to write something, if there's going to be a logical connection from A, B to C. All right, everybody has to go through this step, and inshallah, bi'ithnillah, this is the way how good writing is produced. Okay. Lexical resource, what does lexical mean? Lexical comes from the word lexicon. It means basically vocabulary, right? Do you use the same words over and over again? Right? Do you not have a strong vocabulary? These are things that every student of any kind of foreign language struggles with. I will give you very good techniques on how to develop different, or I should say, a higher level of vocabulary. It's very important that you understand that with IELTS, you do need to use some higher level words, right? I'm sure everybody has seen it on YouTube or TikTok, right? You know, just by saying that something is good, I liked it a lot, we can say, oh, this book was superb, or this book was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it, right? It's the same thing. It's just higher level words. So inshallah, with understanding how to develop and use a higher level vocabulary, this skill can be added to your speaking section too. So make sure that your speaking instructor also encourages you to learn higher level vocabulary. By the way, the productive skills like writing and speaking, they share almost all the same skill sets. So whatever you learn in my class, apply it to the speaking class. What you learn in the speaking class, you can try to apply it to the writing class as well. Make the connection. Okay, you'll see that it's there. There's a pattern. with all these things. So understanding that gives you a higher level of practice, higher level of mastery in English. And our last one, the one that everybody hates, including myself, is grammatical range and accuracy. Again, in spoken language, even in Dari or in Arabic or Farsi, whatever, um, we don't need to put too much stress on our grammatical range. And we don't need to be very accurate as well in our expression. But in writing, we really have to understand the right tenses, the phraseology of things. This takes time and it takes practice. The best way to understand grammatical range is by reading. That's right. If you read a lot, especially in English, you'll know how to write. So again, here's a direct link. If you're in a reading course for IELTS, make sure you understand how these essays are written, because that will help you with your writing section as well. All right, let's see. Now we're going to go on to the strategy. So pay attention with this one, because this information is very important. Actually, let me, what time do we have? I'll give a quick minute, just like a minute. Does anybody have any questions or doubts or any ideas or, uncertainties? If anybody has a quick question, I'll just take one or two. Karima, Rasuli, I know you. How are you? Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum for everyone, especially for you, dear teacher. So, hello and good night for everyone. So, my question is that regarding writing, that as you mentioned, that is it very essential that you should observe some crucial things, that should be coherent and something and grammatic point, that it helps us that you can have a good writing. So you can use contraction during writing, yes or no. For example, if you when we face some question that dear mentioned several questions, so if you you can if you use contraction, we get a low score or high score somehow.
Yeah, excellent question.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
yeah, this is a good question. So contractions, everybody should know what they are. It's like, do I say should not or shouldn't, right? Is there a difference between the meaning? No. However, one of them is considered to be formal, the other one is considered to be an informal type of writing style. So, for all academic purposes, and this is my opinion, for academic writing task 2, you should not use any type of contractions. Contractions are seen as being an informal type of writing style academically, which means that if you go into university in the West and you start writing your research papers with contractions, depending on your professor, they're going to say, hey, don't do this. This is an academic paper. There shouldn't be any contractions. Contractions are a way of using, like, what's replacing them now is like these LOLs and, whatever we have online. It's informal writing. So when I teach my class in university, I tell them stick with using no contractions for academic papers. If you're writing a semi-formal letter, use the contraction. Okay. Great question. Great question. All right. That was just one question. I know that there's like 3 of you now are asking questions. Inshallah, we'll get to them at the end. Let's go through some of these strategies and then we'll open up some questions now. Okay. So, if you want to get that 7 to 9, and it's really important to add these skills to your existing skills. I see a lot of students that get stuck at band 5 to 6.5. And sometimes that half a point is really, really hard for students to jump over. And if you take advantage of these skills here, Bismillah, you should get a 7. And if you keep practicing, may Allah give you a 9. So this is the basic strategies that we need to get that higher score. First one is that you have to make your opinion clear if you're writing for an academic task too. Always make sure that your opinion is known in the introduction. The best place to do this is at the end of the introduction. Make sure that you introduce the idea first. You talk a little bit more about it. That's called unpacking. And then at the end of your introduction, you state your opinion. And the body paragraphs after that, whether there's 2 or there's 3 or there's 5 or whatever you're writing, they should all support that thesis statement, which is your opinion in the introduction. Okay, so this helps you with organization, and in our classes I'll show you techniques on how to properly organize a paper and to always cross-reference yourself. Double check yourself as you're writing so you know that you're writing clearly, that you're writing with consistency and coherence. And this gives us that time. How much time should we do that? In the beginning, I don't know. That's for you to decide. At the end, inshallah, it will take you 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's it. Just 5 minutes to think about the direction that you're going and how you're going to write it and how you're going to plan for it. So it's a really great way to, understand the question, generate some ideas regarding the question, and of course, structuring your essay based on those ideas. Okay? That's your first step. Second, practice developing ideas daily, no matter what it is. If you keep a journal, take that time to just write about anything. I also encourage students, if they're watching a movie or they watch a TV program, or maybe they're, reading a book, at the end of each day, or maybe devote 15 to 20 minutes a day just to write down your ideas or your thoughts about what you did, what you watched, or what you heard, whatever it is. It's now training your brain to write in a structured manner, right? Once you understand the structure of this, it's going to be easy for you to generate relevant ideas during the test. You have to train your brain to think, right? This also really helps improve your grammar and the vocabulary. If you find that you're writing the same words over and over again, hey, maybe the next day take some time and look in a dictionary or a thesaurus and say, what's another word for beautiful? What's another word for bad? I'm having a very bad day. All right, well, bad is okay. It's there. We get it. But what's another word for bad? How do we express ourselves with more emotion? Sometimes there's a word, right? My wife, she's from Palestine, and she laughs at us that speak English. She speaks Arabic, and she says, in English, there's really only like 1 or 2 words for love, right? In Arabic, we have like at least 15 or 25 words. Like you can love a sandwich, but you also love me. Like, is it the same love? No, right? So there's a different way to develop higher level vocabulary that expresses yourself in a deeper way. This is so important for anybody, especially if you're writing some type of essay or a letter to get into university. This is what you need to do. Work on that vocabulary, because not all love is the same. Not all days are bad, right? Not all days are good. We can find ways to express about our feelings or our conditions or a certain thing in another way, and this will be very helpful. So what's the skill? What's the point? Well, you develop your ideas fully, right? It shows that you have more quality of something rather than a quantity. What does that mean? You use 1 word to describe something that it might take 15 words to say, right? 15 small words can equal 1 very good word. You see what I mean? That's the kind of point that you want to get to. Very important to understand the meanings behind words, because they change everything. This also helps you with developing clear explanations and also giving specific examples rather than just presenting, 5 or 6 sentences that you can say essentially in one sentence. Okay. Next one, focus on clear communication. So this is grammar accuracy. Unfortunately, this is like the mathematics of writing. So if any of you are programmers or any of you are into math, uh, you'll do good in grammar. It's one of those things that you have to get used to. You're right. You have to understand it in some way. It's a pain, but inshallah, for the writing course, you have to really understand that if you use a past tense example, you know, what types of be verbs are we going to use for that, right? Again, this takes practice. The main point of writing is to communicate. The main point of any language is to communicate, and not to show off, right? This is one of the major habits I see, especially in higher level students. They want to do really good, so they try to do better than they think. And what they end up doing is they use too many complicated grammar patterns, and it confuses the reader. And unfortunately, that ends in a really band score. So keep it simple, communicate your ideas effectively using the right grammar. We don't need a Hemingway or we don't need a poet here. We just need somebody to simply state their main ideas in a very clear and effective way. That's the focus on clear communication and grammar. So use, error-free sentences. Try to understand. Don't try to be creative with this thing and create sentences that are very unique to the point where nobody understands what you're saying. So make sure that they're going to be very clear and very direct, 100% correct. Okay. And here, I think this is our last. Yep, this is our last point, and then we'll open for questions. Sorry if it's going far. Cohesive devices and conclusions. Okay. Cohesive devices are like linking words. Therefore, because, but, in addition, however, these are all very excellent choice words to use when you're linking ideas. However, if you use them too many times, what happens is that they become overwhelming, and that could often lead to incorrect and inaccurate usages. So make sure that you use these not sparingly, but you use them accurately. Make sure you use at least one of them when you're linking two ideas together. Okay, don't use them to share the same idea, because it gets to be too wordy. Too many words in a sentence could be confusing. All right, and that also gives us a bad consequence for our writing fluency. So watch out for that. High score students focus on clarity, planning, and accuracy. So make sure that with when you use these cohesive devices, you use them accurately. You plan out well, and that will give you clear writing. Okay, so this concludes the academic writing overview. Now, inshallah, we'll have some time for questions, I think. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed. Nice to see you, brother.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really amazing. Jazakumullahu khairan wa barik fikum.
Barakallah.
I hope everyone found it as amazing, helpful, and informative as I did. So now let's get the chance to the audience. Anyone who have any question can raise their hands. I will call upon them. I'll give you a chance. So first of all, I will unmute your mic, Miss Farida Zazai. You can go ahead.
Thank you. Hello for you, dear teacher. I hope you're doing good and healthy. Actually, I want to ask you one question. My question was that, teacher, I'm not good at the spelling the words, and I can't. I'm not good at spelling totally. And actually, I'm really good at the research. I really like the research paper as well. And actually, how can I improve my spelling when I want to pass the real IELTS exam? How I should write down on a paper, because I get get used to the writing on my PC, or always I use some AI app for corrects me in actually writing, because I'm totally not good at the spelling. Would you please tell about the spelling in the writing? How is it important in right now when we are living in the digital world? Thank you.
Ah, excellent question. So yeah, one thing about, let me give you a quick history on English, or well, not history, but fact. English is not a phonetic language. Phonetic language, it means that you spell it as it sounds, right? Arabic is a phonetic language, right? English is not. We have silent letters. We have letters that don't make any sense in words. We have a GH that makes a F sound, right? We have a TION that makes a SH sound. So, yeah, I have my feelings about spelling. I think it's it's a waste of time, right? And in the digital age, alhamdulillah, it makes everybody look professional. And you're not alone, because native writers or native, uh, speakers or of English, a lot of them, they have a difficult time spelling. So my advice to you is to read. If you really want to help with your spelling style or your spelling strategies, you could read. And reading and recognizing words, it's very important. Also, if you are doing a lot of writing on AI, you can also utilize it for yourself and ask like ChatGPT to generate a spelling quiz for you. I'm not too sure how that's going to work because it's all kind of a written form. But for the most, the utilize the technology that you have, like doing spell check, going online, making, trying to find spelling exams. But yeah, the best way I would say, spell it as it sounds, but that doesn't pass in English. Unfortunately, you have to memorize some tricky words. There are some words that are really difficult for people, like receive, I before E, except after, whatever. But yeah, unfortunately, sister, you have to memorize some spelling words here.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Arsala Zakumi, I will unmute your mic. You can go ahead.
In the name of Allah, hello and how are you to all of you? I hope you're in a good health. So first of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to you and for your guidance and advices. And also, I would like to thanks to the all members of Afghan University and for making such a beautiful, beneficial sessions and classes. Actually, dear teacher, like I've got one question. So I'm one of the students in this university. Thanks God, I've learned lots of things on past sessions. So basically, I'm in a B2 level. I want to improve my level to achieve, inshallah, high scores in IELTS. So especially what's your advice for us, like for me, that because I'm doing my bachelor in computer science in Saudi Arabia, like here's no one like speaks English, and lots of their teachers and instructors like they teach in Arabic, and they they are speaking in Arabic. And so in fact, I'm very busy with my lessons these days. So generally, how many hours do I need for in a day for my improving English, and for
Yeah,
this
yeah.
for writing and listening and this speaking writing
Well,
session like. And that's my question. So thank you very much, teacher, for your listening, and God bless you all. May Allah give you a blessing.
Barakallahu feek, yeah. So yeah, first, I think you're a little bit higher than B2. Alhamdulillah, you have a good eloquency in your speech. Regardless, you might be closer to C1, I think. But anyway, the advantage for this is that you're over what we call the learning curve. Um, what comes now for you, brother, is just you have to practice on mastery. um, you've probably learned everything that you can learn at this point. What you need now is practice. You need the application. So my advice to you, well, I think I teach an hour a week. It's not much, but of course I'm always available for students to for extra help. Um, you know, to be honest with you, I think the best thing for you is to try to devote at least anywhere from 3 to 4 hours a week on any type of productive skills, because this will help you advance a lot very quickly. I know KSA is primarily an Arabic speaking country. This is going to change, I think, in the next few years, probably 5 years, with Riyadh 2030. Um, I think the best thing to do for you, brother, is to take that time, 3 hours a week, to really practice your mastery of skills.
Thank you very much, teacher. So, what do you think about if I do like practice daily 1 hour per day? Is it beneficial for
Yeah,
my
one
skill?
hou- one 1 hour is good. If you do that 1 hour every other day, you will see results. But make sure that you challenge yourself. If you keep your skills at the same level that you're at now, you're not going to get any better.
Thank you very much for your kind words. I
You're welcome.
appreciate.
Barakallahu feek.
Let's move to the next person. Mr. Mushtaq Ahmad. You can unmute your mic. Mr.
السلام
Mushtaq
عليكم
Ahmad,
ورحمة
do you have my
الله
voice?
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. First of all, I really thank you and hopeful to the Afghan Open University, and Red, thank you so much for that to you. My question is that I have a lot of thing in my heart, but I can't speak. I don't know why I forgot it. But my question to Mr. as Sir Ustaz Abdullah said. So my question there to how I can remove my words because I have a lot something in my heart, but I can't speak. I don't know why I forget it.
Hmm. Yeah, this is brother, you're not alone. Even here, when I teach native speakers, the issues here is not so much about your skill or learning or forgetting. It's more related to confidence. Um, even for me, and those who know me, I know there are a few in this room. I've been learning Dari for about 1 year, but based on my knowledge of it, anything beyond like hello, how are you, how is the weather, how is your family, what are you doing, I can't answer. Not that I don't know how, but maybe I'm shy, maybe I don't have the confidence. This, I think you should speak to the IELTS speaking instructor. But I've been teaching IELTS and learning English language for over 7 years. So I can tell you the best way, if you're asking me, the best way for you to remove that block is to put yourself in the situation where you have to be passionate. You have to be really confidently engaged in your communication. This is the best way. Don't worry so much on if you're speaking grammatically correct, but focus on how well you're expressing your own ideas. It takes time, brother. It's a language. It's deep. Start small, organize your ideas, breathe, and then speak confidently. Practice with a group of people, inshallah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, we are running out of time. As the last question, we will give chance to Mr. Amirullah Shinwari. You can go ahead. Mr. Shinwari, you can unmute your mic and ask your question.
Thank you so much, respected teacher, for giving me this golden opportunity. Respected teacher, I have two big mistakes. First one is that while I'm speaking, I made lots of pauses. For example, like this kind of sound. Uh, Please give me an advice on how to protect myself from doing this kind of activity and bringing removing these pauses while speaking. And the second question is that how to improve my pronunciation. I mean that for enhancing my pronunciation and pronounce the word correctly. So, which steps should I follow to bring some changes in my pronunciation? Thank you so much.
Okay. Brother, do you use the same sounds when you speak in like Dari or Pashto, whatever your native language is? Do you make those same sounds?
Yeah, sometimes, rarely do I make the same sound, but not most of the time. And it is my habits.
Okay, okay. So okay, so at least you know where the problem is. So if it's a habit, you just need to be aware of it, right? Which means that like in order to break a habit, and this, by the way, this is life advice for anybody. In order to break a habit, what do you need? You need to be aware of it, and you also need to replace it with something else, right? This is the best way if you want to change something. You can't just, you know, do away with it. Something needs to fit in the position, right? So if you find yourself saying, no problem, you're aware of it, but replace those sounds with other words. For example, right? If I want to say, I like warm days, you can replace that with something, with an actual word. I like, well, let me think about it. Yeah, I like warm days the best. So instead of saying, I said, let me think about it. So just replace it, and it works sometimes. By the way, even native speakers make these noises, but the problem is if it becomes habitual, like you said, if you use it all the time, then it can become distracting. Just give yourself the time to express yourself in a different way. Whenever you feel the urge to say right? So that's one technique. That's what I like to use the most. And by the way, there's no big problem with saying these pauses or these hesitations. It's fine. Everybody uses that, but just sparingly, not too much. Second is your pronunciation, the accent. This, it takes time. You have to listen a lot to American speakers or to British speakers or whatever accent that you want. You have to listen to it. You can't just develop the accent without a reference. You have to put yourself in that position. If you want to sound like American or you want to sound like British, watch the news, watch reports, watch interviews, listen to the way that they pronounce it, and inshallah, your ear will develop over time. Okay, that's how it's done. It's how it's done. And that's it. Anybody else with any other questions, or I think we're out of time, right?
Alright, this is to conclude the webinar. Thank you everyone for joining with us. Hope you all found the presentation helpful, amazing, and informative. Before we leave, I would like to thank Mr. Abdullah Ghufran again for his insightful presentation. And all the quiz related information and instructions will be shared with you guys shortly. So stay tuned with us. Have a nice time. Good night, and be on the ball. Thank you.